Hey guys, this was a segment taken from our Residents of Evil podcast, so if you enjoyed this and would like to hear the full discussion, you can check it out now on our channel or on iTunes. Alright, let's get right into it.
Resident Evil 2.
And then we got Chief Irons, which he looks much older in this version than he did in the original Resident Evil 2. Somebody said he's much fatter too, so we got a much fatter, older Chief Irons.
Doesn't matter how fat he's got, everyone's gonna die!
Yes, exactly.
I'm not letting anyone leave my town. Everyone's gonna die.
Everybody's saying he looks just like, what's his name, the diabetes guy?
Wilfred Brimley.
When you compare their pictures, it's actually shocking how close they look to each other. So he's probably hasn't checked his blood sugar, and he's probably a little loopy right now. He seems like really nice at first. He's like, oh, tough girl leaving her house. And then he just, out of nowhere, pulls his gun on Claire and says, get down on the ground. And this is where you get a really good look at his face. Some people aren't a big fan of his appearance. I actually don't mind his appearance at all. He's got like dark bags under his eyes, so he looks like he's been up for a few days. Probably looks like he's going insane. And his voice is kind of where some people had issues. They say it's like he sounds too young. I don't hear that. I think he sounds fine.
Brave little girl to leave your house in the middle of this mess. On the ground, hands behind your head.
So what do you guys think about the look of Chief Irons, the way he acts, and his voice?
Well, honestly, he looks really good. Voice-wise, I didn't really think much about it. He just kind of sounds like the typical baddie.
Yeah.
I thought his original voice was a little bit more iconic.
Actually, you know what? I have to agree with that. It was like a much more like a radio voice you would hear. It was it was more like theatrical in the original. This seems much more real.
Either by putting a bullet through her brain, or by decapitating her completely.
Yeah, that I agree with. This one kind of just felt more planned out and not as natural. But there's not really much to say. I don't want to complain because we only heard 10 seconds?
Yeah, but what did you think, Tony?
The guy's got diabetes.
No, we're gonna run that right into the ground.
No, okay, so even when characters, especially in Resident Evil 2, when they don't get a lot of time on screen, but when they do, they always sold it and it made them memorable. Like, Kendo was one of them, Marvin was one of them, Chief was one of them, Annette for the few times that she did pop up for once in a while and everything. Every character in 2, despite the short length they were in, if they weren't like the two main characters and Sherry, they really did a great job at holding their own and making themselves memorable. And the Chief was like the best. And his backstory and everything is completely weird and all that jazz.
Oh, yeah.
But before, he looked like an old man, but he looked like more like he was in his 40s and everything, or even like early 50s. And I mean, 40s for a police chief, I think, is still pretty young. I think most police chiefs are like 50 or higher. I have no problem with it. I think the updated look looks great. I don't think it shits on his original look at all. I actually like the improved aged look, and his voice isn't bad. In fact, I think what we're dealing with here, this is a guy who was shown what the character was, what his background was. So they're gonna pull like the nice like Uncle Brian, and then the personality for him is going to flip. And when it flips, you're going to have your skin crawl. And I feel that that's what's going to be here. Now, I kind of feel like that because of how he looks and the voice, it doesn't match up really. But at the same time, it's not a bad thing that it doesn't match up, because like I said, what could happen down the line, I think that'll make it all better. I think when we see that personality change, because you do see that change in 2. In 2, he's kind of defeated and tired when he talks, and he's still somewhat composed. Then when you get into the torture BDSM dungeon, whatever you want to call that, section room.
Sex cave.
Secret sex cave. No, you see the change in him. He goes he's completely psychotic. And if you read the book, City of the Dead, he's even more psychotic. Like his trip to that basement, in the passages that they put in the book, it's the Chief by himself. They show his descent into madness.
Oh yeah.
So I think we're in for a real treat when everything finally gets revealed and we get to that part. I think it's gonna be something that's gonna blow our freaking minds, more so than more of Marvin. I think it might even be better than Marvin's transformation into a zombie.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Just from this little bit we've seen, like I've said, I thought it was fantastic, and it basically exactly what you explained. We're just gonna see a flip. He's gonna seem like your Uncle Brian, and then all of a sudden he's just gonna go batshit crazy, and you're not gonna know what to say or do because you feel like it's just gonna set him off. He also has this dead look into his eyes. It just looks empty, hollow, just like a serial killer. I think they nailed it, honestly. And like I said, that's why it's kind of the highlight of the trailer for me. And you can just kind of see Sherry just helpless, and Claire just what do I do? As he just shoots right next to her head. I don't know, he's detaining her for some reason. He kind of goes back to grab his handcuffs. Not 100% sure why, but that just leads back to he's crazy and he does what he wants to do.